call to order concurrently at 6:06 p.m. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Commissioner Caraballo.
Please stand, right hand over your heart. Please begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which
which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Yes, good evening, Commissioners. Chairperson Smith,
Yes, present.
Vice Chairperson El Shanable,
present.
Commissioner Ortiz, absent, Commissioner Caravello,
Present.
Commissioner Richard.
Present.
Oral communications. This is the time for the public to address the Planning Commission on items not on the public hearing portion of the agenda. After obtaining permission to proceed by the presiding officer, speakers should first state their full name and address for the record. The speaker shall limit their address to the 3 minutes. All remarks shall be to the Planning Commission as a body and not to any particular commissioner. Any public comments that are discriminatory, defamatory, or otherwise not protected speech will not be considered, consented to, or otherwise adopted by the Planning Commission in its deliberations and findings. As a courtesy to others, please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices. The Planning Commission strives to treat all participants with civility, and we ask that you do the same. Please keep remarks to 3 minutes. Is there anyone that would like to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Sue, and I'm a resident of Hawthorne. The reason for me being here today is to inquire about how our city is going to address
Excuse
noise
me.
pollution.
Would you mind pulling your mask down because I can hardly hear you?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll start. Good evening. My name is Sue. I'm a resident of Hawthorne. The reason for me being here today is to inquire about how our city will be addressing noise pollution and its impact on every single business and resident in our city. According to noiseban.com, we should only be exposed to airport noise only 1 minute a day. As I was driving here this evening, I saw a flight flying 800 feet of altitude over our middle school, and it flew at that altitude all the way towards the 110 freeway. These flights are being conducted by our flight schools and our Hawthorne Municipal Airport. I'm extremely concerned about this, as this is causing harm to our children and our businesses. These planes fly over the Hawthorne Mall, which hopefully in the future will be converted to commercial space. I believe that that's the city's hope. I don't understand how we are allowing the airport to conduct these I don't understand how our airport is allowing these flight schools. No one's gonna wanna live here. I personally wish to move to Ohio, but my husband doesn't want to. So I've decided to tackle this issue head on because our property values are going to decrease. Right now, there's a property for sale about, I think it's on the market for about $850,000. It neighbors the airport. The owners have invested a lot of money in updating the house. It's been in the market for over 30 days. And I don't see how anyone would want to spend that kind of money when they would have to literally wear earplugs inside of their home. Airport pollution, noise pollution causes noise-induced hearing loss. And honestly, it feels like I live in Vietnam. I was trying to do a meditation before coming here, and around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, there was 4 airplanes flying consecutively, one after the other, over Zella Davis Elementary School. And I could hear it in my bedroom with the windows closed. I'm highly concerned, and everyone here should be concerned as well. How are we going to attract new businesses, new homeowners? No one in their right mind would want to come here when you're going to be exposed to noise pollution and you could potentially lose hearing. It doesn't make any sense. I feel like as a city, we need to make a decision over the revenue that the flight schools are bringing in, and our schools, our education, our businesses, our health, our property values. We have to make a decision. It's really, really stressing me out. I know it's stressing my neighbors out as well. And news of this is going to be spreading. So I feel like we need to make a decision. We made an oath. We made a pledge. We're under God. I can tell you that God would not be happy with this. Hawthorne, I mean, the karma that Hawthorne is going to have, it's terrible. It's terrible. I'm really, really, really concerned, especially about Zella Davis. 17% of their students are at or above grade level in math, compared to over 50% over at Mark Twain Elementary. The closer you are to the airport, the more impacted our schools are. And you can see it in our SARC report from 2020 and 2021. I emailed all of the city council members from Hawthorne who have their email addresses available to the public. I emailed them regarding all of this. They are aware. I also emailed every politician that's running for office in the state of California. This is a state of emergency. This truly is an emergency. If I hear it all the way in my home with the doors and windows closed, imagine those kids. How are they supposed to concentrate? How are they supposed to learn? Noise pollution has been proven to cause memory impairments, learning difficulties. We understand that children who have ADHD, depression, anxiety, and conduct disorders end up incarcerated, end up with mental health issues, don't go to college. And we have a crime issue in our city that we all are concerned about. We're causing this problem. We truly are. And it truly saddens me. I personally, I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist here in the state of California. I worked at D.D. Hirsch Mental Health Services. I treated our kids. I understand this issue and how it impacts families. It's impacting my family. It's impacting me. I wear these noise-canceling headphones mostly every single day, all day long, because they're hovering over my home, and I have screenshots proving that they're flying under 1,000 feet, which is illegal according to the FAA. I brought this up last week, and they gave me a fact sheet telling me, well, we can't do anything about it. Once it take off, well, then just file a grievance with the FAA. We know that that's going to end up in the shredder. We own our airport. We control our airport. And I believe that every single citizen has a right to have hearing. Jesus said, whoever has an ear to hear, let them hear. We are being robbed of our right to hear. We are conditioning our children for war because that's what it sounds like outside. They don't hear birds chirping or squirrels playing. They hear helicopters, one after the other after the other. Last week, I called the Hawthorne Dispatch. I was like, has there been a crime in my neighborhood? Because I live in Bodger Park. They said, no, ma'am. I called around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The crime had happened at 8 in the morning. I was like, why are they over my home if the crime happened at 133rd and Cordery? And I live in Badger Park. Every time I hear a helicopter, I have been conditioned in this city to think that someone has been murdered, that someone has been shot, there has been a crime, a serious crime. So every time I hear a helicopter, now I have PTSD. It's fight or flight. What's going on? What's going on? Our children are experiencing the same thing.
Okay, I want to thank you for your comments, but your time is up, please.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Mr. Smith. God bless
Okay,
you all.
is there anyone else that wishes to speak? Please keep your remarks to 3 minutes, please.
Hi, my name is Lely Fernandez. I am a longtime Hawthorne resident here, and in listening to what the young lady therapist was just saying, I have to concur with all of it. I just didn't realize what was really going on. She's opened up my eyes to very much a lot. However, I do have my mom who is sick. We are on 134th and Hawthorne, and these airplanes flying low is ridiculous. If they've been okay to do so, then let us know, give us a notice. There's no resting there, and I'm certainly not going to keep her in the hospital. She's in her own home, she owns. I have too called the FAA, in which you get the little flight. I emailed, screenshot, hey, this is what I have, and they do wish it to the side. So we are here. I don't know who she is, but please help us, because we need you to help us or direct us where the right steps so that we can have tranquility in our own homes. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I did have a question for them. Is this airplanes or helicopters that you have the concerns with?
These are private planes that the flight schools are using to operate their business. And it's not the helicopters. They do have private helicopters, and I understand that there isn't a limit to their altitude, but these are planes. And they're different types of planes. Some are smaller, they sound like biplanes, some sound like jets. But at this point, I do not trust, I don't trust them. They're not running their business in an ethical manner. They're breaking the law. And what I was told last week is that, well, they're ascending up, and then they have to turn, right? And then they do that loop. But once they hit our middle school and Zella Davis Elementary School, even all the way towards the 110, it goes over our fire station, golf courses, library, and they're all flying under 1,000 feet.
Okay, thank
And
you.
it's multiple planes. It's not just one. It's you can see them sometimes in unison. There'll be 3 in the air at the same time, rotating, and they're all doing the same thing. So
Okay, thank you very much.
Through the chair, if I may, can I ask a question? Or not to you, to our planning, to our,
It's not an agendized item.
okay.
This is not on the agenda, so I think if
Yeah,
we'd
I mean-
wanted to discuss it further, we might have to put it on the agenda.
I mean,
Yeah.
the only thing that I need to know is the Airport Zoning Commission, would this be under our jurisdiction?
No,
That's
it
all.
would be the council, where the
Yes.
zoning commission would just be approving.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's-
zoning
Okay,
things.
that's what I needed to know. And as long as the people that spoke understand that.
Yes, it would be the city council.
Okay.
okay. Seeing nobody else, I will close oral communications. And we'll have the Planning Commission and Airport Zoning Commission consent calendar. And there are no items on that. So we'll recess the Airport Zoning Commission and now have the Planning Commission consent calendar. We have no items on that. Continued public hearings, there are no items. New public hearing. Conditional use permit conditional use permit 2022 CU09, Dickey's Barbecue Pit. Now is the time and place to open the public hearing to consider conditional use permit 2022 CU09. Planning intern Melissa Flores will present the staff report. Ms. Melissa?
Good evening, Commissioners. Okay, I'm Melissa Flores, presenting the application for conditional use permit 2022 CU09. It is for beer and wine at Dickey's Barbecue.
Is the
Can you all
microphone
hear
on?
me?
Yes.
Hold on.
As high as it goes.
That's as high, just get a little closer to the
Right.
microphone.
I'll lean on it. The applicant is requesting approval to provide beer and wine service for customers in conjunction with the purchase of food for dine-in. The property is located within the C3 General Commercial Zone. It's on the northeast corner of West El Segundo Boulevard and Hawthorne Boulevard, so right here. It's surrounded by various residential and commercial uses. You can see to the north is the former Hawthorne Mall, and to the south, Washington Elementary School. The restaurant itself occupies 1,562 square feet of interior tenant space within a multi-tenant commercial property. The total lot area is approximately 358,000 square feet. And as you can see, there is ample on-site parking for all of the patrons. The red box shows where the restaurant is located. It's actually currently undergoing tenant renter modifications, but will be opening before the end of the year. And they will provide 38 interior seats, no patio or exterior seating. Upon opening, the hours of operation will be 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily, and they're proposing the sale of beer and wine at those times. So because the project complies with the Hawthorne Municipal Code, it's compatible with adjacent land uses and will not result in negative impacts to the surrounding neighborhood, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt Resolution number 2022-12, approving a CUP for the on-site sale of beer and wine within a bona fide eating establishment. Does the commission have any questions?
Okay, this is time for questions of the staff only by the commissioners. Anyone have any questions? Okay. Is the applicant present and do they wish to speak?
The applicant is present?
Very briefly,
Yes, briefly.
Yeah, you'd like to speak briefly, go right ahead.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'd like to thank planning staff for all their work on the staff report. We've read through the proposed conditions. We think they're applicable and acceptable as they are. I just wanted to elaborate a little bit on the Type 41 license. It is for a bona fide eating establishment. It requires that the business keeps an on-site kitchen, has a menu of food items available at all times, so it is operated as a bona fide eating establishment. With that being said, I'd love to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone who wishes to address the commission on this issue?
Sir, I want to congratulate you
Please
on your...
speak to the commissioners.
I
not-
want to congratulate him on his new business endeavor. I do want to suggest that he do not have outdoor seating because I saw 3 loops today over Washington Elementary flying under 1,000 feet. So his customers will be exposed to noise pollution. And that's something that he should consider. I suggest you having proper installation in your business. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? Ms. Meherick, are there any documents to place into administrative records such as late communication?
There are none.
Thank you. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any final comments on this item or questions from staff? I now formally close the public hearing on these items and call on my fellow commissioners for a vote on Resolution 2022-12, approving conditional use permit application 2022 CU09. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Is
I'll
there a
second.
A motion been made and seconded. Will the secretary please call for the vote?
Yes. Chairperson Smith,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Ashel-Nable,
Yes.
Commissioner Ortiz is absent, Commissioner Caraveo,
Yes.
Commissioner Richard.
Yes.
Thank you. Next item is conditional use permit 2022 CU05 and design review 2022 DR05. Part 1, the conditional use permit CU05, a request to approve a new 1,334 square foot building with a drive-through to house a new Jack in the Box restaurant. So now is the time and place to open the public hearing to consider the conditional use permit. Oh, yeah, there you are. Senior Planner Maria Meherick will present the staff report.
Good evening, Commissioners. I will be presenting conditional use permit 2022 CU05. Just to let you know ahead of time, this is actually two applications. It's a conditional use permit and a design review. The conditional use permit needs to be addressed first and voted on first before we can go on to the design review. So the CUP is 2022 CU05. It's for a drive-through fast food restaurant which will be housed by a Jack in the Box at 3940, 3944 West El Segundo Boulevard. As you can see from the vicinity and the zoning map, this particular project will occupy 2 lots. And it's located right across the street from the Hawthorne Memorial Park. Right to that, which is to the north. To the east of it, there's a Burger King currently, and to the west is a service station. I do want to address the zoning. Although the zoning indicates that it is an M1 zone, which is an industrial zone, the general plan designation is actually general commercial. And the appropriate land use designation which we would apply would be C3, since the M1 zone is not is incompatible with the general plan and it's not in conformity with the general plan. So I just wanted to indicate that so that we can explain that the future development of the city is guided by the general plan and the land use element specifically. So therefore, we applied the C3 general commercial zoning regulations. The current site is approximately 21,692 square feet. It is developed with 2 one-story buildings housing various auto-related uses, which are repair and auto body repair shops. So as you can see, it's a very old property. The buildings are very old. There's little to no landscaping whatsoever. They're not very well taken care of, so they're a little bit dilapidated, but they will be demolished to house the new Jack in the Box. As you can see from the proposed site plan, the new fast food restaurant will have a drive-through, which is the purpose of the conditional use permit. The applicant did talk extensively with the Public Works Department to make sure that the drive-through would house or queue enough vehicles to accommodate this drive-through restaurant. And with that discussion with them, they were able to coordinate and accommodate up to 9 vehicles on site, which will assist in preventing a lot of vehicles queuing out onto the public street, which would be El Segundo Boulevard. This particular restaurant is a walk-up order restaurant with windows. There's no indoor seating. And they do provide ample parking. They're providing 15 standard size stalls, 2 ADA stalls, and 4 order pickup window stalls. So those who call in, they can park there, or if there's someone in the queue that has a few more orders, they can park there and await their orders so that they keep moving through the drive-through. This is the proposed floor plan. As you can see, there is no seating. It's just walk-ups. It is a small site. Right to the south of them is and I'm going to go back, I'm sorry. Right to the south of them, there is a apartment building. As you can see, it kind of wraps around. And so the drive-through is set back as far as possible so to accommodate that and to prevent any issues related to the building behind them, as you can see. And there's also a dedicated lane where that's where the trash pickup, as you can see from the proposed site plan. And we went through the floor plan. These are the elevations. It's a very small building. It's no more than approximately 23 or 22 feet high. And that's really it for this building. Very small, no outdoor seating is proposed. One thing that staff is recommending is, since it is 2 lots, and we realize that they weren't tied together, they will have to tie that together, but that's in-house, it's a ministerial, it does not need to come before the Planning Commission. So they will be doing that with us, with staff and with Public Works. And with that, I conclude my staff report for the conditional use permit portion. Okay. And staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt PC Resolution 22-10 with the conditions of approval, approving conditional use permit 2022 CU05. If you have any questions of staff.
Thank you. Does the Planning Commission have any questions for the staff? This is time for questions of the staff only by the commissioners.
I had a question. I want to know, I didn't see a monument sign in the plans. Did they provide one to us?
No. There, as far as I know, as of now, there is no monument sign proposed. If they do propose that, they do need to submit those plans separately, and we will make sure that it adheres to the municipal code. The municipal code states that they are allowed 2 square feet, one square foot of signage for every 2 square feet of street frontage, and they do have 2 street frontages.
Okay. Yeah, because it shows one on the corner, but I didn't see any details for that.
No, oh, right there. Yeah, there are no details right now.
Okay.
They need to submit those separately.
Okay.
The maximum height, according to the municipal code, would be 25 feet for a pole sign or monument sign.
Okay. And then what about like the street visibility triangle?
They would have to accommodate that.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And the landscaping needs to accommodate that too. So,
That's all of my questions.
No one else? Okay, thank you. Is the applicant present, and do they wish to speak?
Representative, and no, I'm not interested in speaking.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone who wishes to address the commission on this issue? Okay, seeing no one. Mrs. Meherick, are there any documents to place into the administrative record, such as late communications?
there are none.
Do any of my fellow commissioners have any final comments on this item or questions from the staff? I now formally close the public hearing on these items. call on my fellow commissioners for a vote on Resolution 2022-10, approving conditional use permit application 2022 CU05. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
It's been a motion, a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been a motion made and seconded. Will the secretary please call for the vote?
Chairperson Smith,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Alzanable,
Yes.
Commissioner Ortiz is absent, Commissioner Caraveo,
Yes.
Commissioner Richard.
Yes.
Okay, now we're ready for part two.
Part 2. Yes, Commissioners, as the CUP did pass the vote, we can move on to the design review portion of this application. It is required, as it is a brand-new restaurant or building, and it cannot be excluded from the design review process. So this is for the Jack in the Box, which is the fast food restaurant that is proposed at 3940 and 3944 West El Segundo Boulevard. This is a vicinity map. I think that's the wrong one. Okay, here we go. So here's, you saw this slide before. It's the current site conditions. These buildings will be removed and will be replaced with the new restaurant. These are the elevations. The elevations do meet the requirements of the code. And as shown in the prior slides, it does meet all of the requirements in terms of parking and the location. So what occurred is that when the staff report was written, we had proposal A, as you can see for the exterior facade. We received a new proposal after the staff report went out. And I don't have the exact renderings, but the only difference in this proposal is you'll see a couple of things. You'll see the purple that is proposed at the rear portion of the building where the signs are. They have eliminated the Jack in the Box face. If you can see that there at the back here. Mm-hmm. So proposal A is the original one, which is what the staff report is based on. And proposal 2, the only difference, like I said, would be this purple area. The sign is slightly different, as you can see, but we're focusing more on the color and the design here. In terms of the size of the signs, those will come back as a separate application just to staff to make sure they meet the proposal. So you can see the difference from the rendering and from proposal B. Here is the rear elevation. And again, you can see a little more clearly what this wall looks like, and then what it would look like with the purple color. Okay? These are the materials and colors. They're the same materials, the same colors, they're just being applied a little bit differently to that wall. And that is what the Planning Commission needs to decide if they would prefer proposal A or proposal B. In terms of the landscaping, they are beautifying this lot completely with brand new landscaping, lush landscaping. They're incorporating colorful, lush, drought-tolerant plants. This is a little sample of what they're proposing throughout the site. And in your report, there is the site plans that show all of the plans that they're being proposed and the number and locations. And this is a little small to see everything, but they definitely are proposing a lot of landscaping throughout the entire site. So this does complete my staff report. The staff does recommend the commission adopt the PC resolution with the conditions of approval that are there, but we will need to revise it to indicate which color proposal the Planning Commission decides would be appropriate for this site. And I will go back a little bit so that you can see the rear portion of that wall. And if you have any questions, I'm available, and the
Okay.
applicant is as well.
Does the Planning Commission have any questions for the staff? This is time for questions of the staff by commissioners only. Okay, is the applicant present? Do they wish to speak? Please.
Real quickly, Kevin Deegan, I represent the entity that's going to be developing this. We apologize for the late change in the elevations. They're dictated by Jack in the Box Corporate, and unfortunately, they came out 2 weeks ago. So that's the change. We can live with either one. Obviously, Jack in the Box would prefer alternate B. And I'm here if you have any questions.
Okay. Is there anyone that wishes to address the commission on this issue? Excuse me. Okay. Ms. Maharick, are there any documents to place in administrative records such as late communication?
No, only the late proposal for Proposal B. That would be the only thing that came in late.
Okay. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any final comments on this item or questions from the staff?
I mean, if I may, I actually prefer B2. I mean, I know it's up to the majority, but I think it's more elegant.
Yeah, I'm okay with either one. I do like that they are screening the mechanical equipment on the roof. And then I would just recommend maybe adding a condition for the visibility triangle for the foliage and the monument sign.
No problem.
Anyone else? Okay, I now formally close the public hearing on these items. Call on my fellow commissioners for a vote on Resolution 2022-11, approving the design review 2022 DR05. Do I have a motion?
I may, through the chair, do we have a consensus on whether it's A or B that we want?
How do we do that?
I mean,
We just decide which one we want to.
You can discuss
Put
and
it,
then.
you can put it in
Yes.
the motion.
is everyone okay with B? I mean, sir,
You
do
can make the
pref-
motion to approve B, I think, and then
Oh,
vote on it.
yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense. Okay.
Uh,
Motion to approve option B
Is there a second?
With the condition.
with the condition.
Yeah.
With the condition for the visibility triangle, for foliage, and the monument sign.
Yes, I'll second.
Okay. So I have a motion and a second. Will the secretary please call for the vote?
Chairperson Smith,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Alshanable,
Yes.
Commissioner Caraveo,
Yes.
Commissioner Richard.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We'll now recess the Planning Commission, call back to order the Airport Zoning Commission. There are no items. Airport Zoning Consent Calendar, there's also no items. The Airport Zoning Commission, new continued public hearing, there are no items. Call back to order the Planning Commission concurrently with the Airport Zoning Commission. No items. Non-public hearing items, there are none. And administrative items, there are none. Items to be placed on future agendas. CU 21, CU 10, mini market sales of alcohol. And the second one would be 2022 CU 08, Tata's Restaurant sales of alcohol. Okay, so now we have commissioners' reports. Commissioner, do you have anything you want to report on? Speak up. No?
Just a very quick thing that I need to say. I mean, I just want to make it clear that I do have my phone next to me all the time. I do have a child with a medical condition, and sometimes if something happens, I just need to know. So I do apologize that it's not that I'm checking anything on it. It's always beside me just in case I had to receive a message. Thank you.
And I had a question about the airport noise. Just trying to see how do we address that or find out more information about that.
Well, I don't know if I mean, as citizens, you could probably look into it, but as far as it's not really in the planning commission's purview to do much about it. No, it's the council, it's the city, but not necessarily under the planning commission's purview.
And then, so what is the airport?
Zoning.
It's just zoning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Chris, I'll just answer your question. There is another commission, the Airport Zoning Commission, that has representatives from the various homeowners associations as well as various cities that the public is allowed to go to, where they do specifically address those kind of issues. I know members of my homeowners association are there monthly. It's bi-monthly, so they do have the option to reach out that way.
Is that for Hawthorne Airport or LAX?
It's for Hawthorne
Okay.
Airport. I believe they also discuss some of the flight paths that come from LAX as well, but mostly it's around Hawthorne Airport.
Okay. That's all my questions.
Okay. Is there anything further from the commissioners? If not, the meeting will be adjourned at 6:47. Thank you very much for your participation.